For the world to see what the Russians did in Mariupol, Chernov had to get his 30 hours of video out of the city. Ukrainian troops went in to rescue him.
Abandoning the doctors who have sheltered us.
You left on day 20.
Yeah.
Mariupol fell on day 86?
Yeah. Believe it or not, it became even worse. It seemed that it can't be worse. Just can't. But it was.
That was the beginning of a war that has now gone on for 2 years. Thousands of Ukrainian soldiers have lost limbs, and a tiny fraction have been brought to the United States to be fitted for advanced prosthetics.
I'm Jedi.
Jedi, yes. Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
Before the war, Alexei Deyanov was a martial arts enthusiast. Petro Kulik worked in construction. Yehen Kalyuzhny was a lumberjack.
Does he want to try bending the elbow?
Sergey Völlig repaired cars. They tell of being outgunned and outmanned by the Russians. How heavy was the Russian artillery fire?
In ratio to our artillery, it's 1 to 10.
Did the Russian soldiers outnumber you?
I don't even know by how many times, but there's lots. They come and come and come.
The combat's so intense, there was no quick evacuation from the front lines. How long before you got to a hospital?
More than 24 hours. To the hospital, it took me around 20 hours.
These soldiers were wounded in Ukraine's much vaunted counteroffensive, last year's drive to take back occupied territory, a drive that attempted to use American mine-clearing equipment and armored vehicles to break through Russian lines, but faltered in the face of minefields and dug-in defenders. Now the American supply line, which sent Ukraine over 3 million artillery shells, is drying up, and funding for more military aid is trapped in the caustic politics of Congress.
For Republicans in Congress who think they can oppose funding for Ukraine and not be held accountable, history is watching.
When the history of this day is written, as it surely will be, do you really want to be recorded as being on the side of Vladimir Putin? All those in favor of Putin say aye.
Senator Angus, who has traveled to Ukraine and met with its leader, says what happens next will be a turning point.
If we walk away, it will be the greatest geopolitical mistake this country has made in generations, and it will haunt this country for 50 years.
King, who serves on both the Senate Armed Services and Intelligence Committees, paints a dark picture of what will happen to Ukraine without U.S. aid.
There'll be one of two results. Russia will just take over, and the Ukrainian people's desire for freedom and democracy is gone. And the other option is that it turns into a sort of guerrilla war where Ukrainians are fighting from behind trees and buildings.
Does that mean the front lines as we know them today just collapse and the Russians break through?
I think that's the inevitable conclusion.
How long can...
I think it's 6 months.
So we could have the collapse of the front by this summer?
I think that's a distinct possibility.
In his documentary, 20 Days in Mariupol, Mstyslav Chernov captures the battle for survival in one unforgettable scene. A wounded mother giving birth.
It's a defining moment of the whole horrifying 20 days. One of the doctors told me that people were only dying in this room, and this is the first time the human was born in this room.
So that little baby we saw born is coming up on her second birthday?
Yes, almost second birthday, yeah.
The war is coming up on its second birthday, too. More cities and towns have fallen since Mariupol, and many more are under attack.
So all of those cities, their story is represented by Mariupol. It's a symbol of all these cities. It's not the past, it's present.